Hi, this is Nerd Foo. I'm Ginger Jesus. All right, an update to the last video, as well as some other things coming up shortly here. But let's discuss exercise. Exercise sucks. There's no way around it. Nobody like some people like exercising, and I don't know how they do it. I don't. Some people talk about getting high from it, but I have a weird genetic variant where I don't produce a whole lot of I don't get high from exercise. I don't get high from. I don't get the endorphin high from most things. Opiates don't work on me very well either. It's just a thing. So when I exercise, it sucks the entire time. I have to make it fun. I do martial arts to make exercise fun because we need to exercise to be healthy. Also, I like martial arts because I grew up in a violent neighborhood. I grew up around danger. I like being prepared. I don't consider myself a violent person, but I was raised around it, and I learned to prep. So let's discuss civics, the study of government. And I realize this is kind of a tonal shift, but this is very important, not only to me, but to other martial artists out there, because we study violence, and society is afraid of violence. And when society is afraid of violence, they make laws concerning that. I was in my yard on Saturday, and I was practicing. Now the thing is that I was practicing my footwork and my breath work. My breath work. I was trying to put the two together. I was trying to breathe and step at the same time. I'm trying to connect those two, and I'm trying to connect them to the point where it's happening in the background, so I was also focusing on some weapon work. Now the thing is that I happen to be a fencer. And by fencer, I mean the study of the sword, not fencing as in the sport. My preferred weapon for fencing is the rapier. Now this is a live steel blade. You got the wrong house engraved on the blade. It is my pride and joy. And it's what I practice with the most. But sometimes I like practicing with this bad boy, as I've shown earlier on the channel. Now the thing about this guy is it is heavy, right? It is really heavy. Like, this is steel. This entire thing is steel, plus the battery pack. So it's got some heft and some weight to it. I might even say it's even heavier than your standard longsword. And if you're a fan of the European blades at all, and you've held a longsword, then you know their weight. And you know they're not really as heavy as you think they are, but they are heavier than you expect. This was heavier than I expected when I first picked it up by quite a bit. But the thing is that even if you love swords, if you've been practicing for a long time, eventually even that can get kind of boring. So a friend of mine many years ago gave me these for my birthday. They're not great quality, they're plastic. Practice chucks. I was practicing with these in my front yard, and local police officers showed up and told me they were illegal and took them away. So I sent an email to the mayor. Civics, study of government. Know how it works, get what you need. Because that's what it does. Those who don't study government are the ones who are always complaining about it. Those who know how it works, know the system, know how to get things done. I wrote the mayor an email. It was very polite. It was succinctly worded. Basically, I wanted proof that I broke a law. If there was no proof, I wanted my chucks back. If there was proof, so be it. I made a mistake. I apologize. I'm sorry. This morning, the police officer showed up on my front porch with my nunchucks. He handed them back to me. He said he looked at the laws. He couldn't find one saying I couldn't have one. He apologized. He was polite. He was respectful. I was polite. I was respectful. He handed me my chucks back. That was the end of the story. But now I feel apprehensive practicing with my own stuff. It's a weird feeling. So, why are these illegal? So, all over the place. Recently, many states are working on making them legal again, but let's focus on the reason why they were made illegal in the first place, because quite frankly, it's racism. Straight up racism. And I realize that nobody wants to hear that, especially when they look like the people who are doing the racism. But you know what? Get the fuck over it. You had people making martial art movies in China where they were fighting against their oppressors. That was the story of those movies. They became popular amongst African American groups in New York who started training because they recognized in themselves that downtrodden people who wanted to fight back against their oppressors. The problem is violence only works positively in movies and other stories. It never works well in real life. Now, I don't know if any violence is ever brought against anybody. I doubt it. I didn't do any actual research on that. But at the same time, I've trained with these, and I know that if I'm going to hit somebody with these, and I don't know what I'm doing, I'm going to hurt myself in the process. It's going to bounce, it's going to hit me, and it's going to suck. And I also know that trained fighters don't start fights. They just don't. Rarely do they start fights. It's just a thing. Like, you get training, and the part of you that wants to prove you're better than everybody else on the street gets beaten out of you by everybody else who can prove to you every day that they're better than you. And you either keep training or you quit. These require training because they are a terrible weapon. But they're fun to practice with, and they're fun to play with. This, on the other hand, is boring to practice with. The thing about fencing is fencing only has so many defenses and so many strikes. It's a very simple, straightforward art. Especially with the rapier. It is what it is, right? That's what you love when you love archaic weapons. I'm Nerd Foo. I'm Ginger Jesus. This is Nerd Foo. Good yourselves out there.